And that's why I believe it was Agatha all along. Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Welcome to another Winging It podcast. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Since last week, we had a special situation. So, how everybody doing?
I mean, I'm fine, but I will admit I felt a little attacked in that intro last week.
See, see,
I would never
I
do
knew it.
that when you while you're here.
Hey,
Of course, not while I'm here. That would just be rude.
I know, right?
Glad to have you back, man. Glad to have you back. How you feeling, Dre?
Well, I'm good. Just we knocked out the other another game idea foundry talk, so I'm
That
good.
we did. That we did. Jack, man, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hopefully, we can get it working and get it right this time. I mean, we had a good discussion, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can get it going this time, man.
Yeah, I know how you know how I normally hate Mrs. Sune. I hate Discord now.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, Discord pissed me off, and there's clearly no fix for it. So
Wow.
Discord, I want to say something, but I'm not gonna say it because that would be rude and inappropriate.
You can get them to be a sponsor and everything. So
Yeah,
just hold back, hold back.
no, I'm good. so, so that being said, we had the Nintendo Direct Wednesday. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through some stuff first, and then we're gonna do that at the end because that's going to take up the majority of the podcast. This podcast is probably gonna go a little long. I know I try to keep it between an hour and an hour 15. It's probably gonna go an hour and 30. So I apologize ahead of time, people who like to tell me that the podcast is too long and they clearly can't listen, even though we have an audio version where all you have to do is put it on Spotify and you'll be good to go, or Google Podcasts, or any of your other podcasting services.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, first things first, E3 2021 is going digital. Thoughts? About damn time. Thoughts?
Um, this is interesting. I mean, I'm kind of curious as to why they didn't do this from jump. Because I mean, honestly, do you really need someone there per se? I think the only thing I really saw that was a big hit with E3 were the Treehouse Lives. But outside of that, Nintendo can do that on their own. So I honestly, I don't see a point unless you were actually going to E3. But to have it digital, even then, I'm still looking at it because now a lot of companies went the route of just putting it out on Twitter or putting it out on their own YouTube, and the hype around E3 was, for me, I felt like it was dying anyway. Especially when everybody started following Nintendo with the Nintendo Direct route. I don't know. I'm kind of curious as to how it's gonna turn out.
Dre?
Yeah, like he fell out.
Oh, did you fall out? Oh, dang, he did fall out.
Yeah,
Okay, well, all right, so we'll get Andre back in a little bit. I hope. I think. I hope.
yeah.
Uh,
It still got
like,
his name up there, but I'm
yeah.
not sure.
All
It's
right, so I added him back. All right, so basically my thoughts on it. Yeah, you're right. Last year I understand that it kind of caught everybody off guard, but they could have did something toward the end of the year.
mm-hmm.
Personally, um, the thing about E3, I know like usually like the first 2 or 3 days, the stuff that all of us see is the stuff that the game trailers, the presentation, the Treehouse Direct. But
Mm-hmm.
the last 2 days are usually for the developers and stuff.
Yeah,
That's what that's for. So to me, they probably should have had a contingency plan already, just in case something happened. Because normally it was in California, and
yeah,
what would have happened if y'all would have had an earthquake? Just saying,
right. Yeah,
or like what it was a couple years ago was those fires.
yeah.
So I mean, to me, they should have had like some kind of contingency plan in place anyway, just in case. So I think this is it's a good idea because a lot of other ones. I mean, Tokyo Game Show and Jump Fest went digital last year,
Hmm.
so it's not like it's a situation in which it, people didn't have uh, a plan. Everybody did have to work around it. So we found a way to make it work. So I personally think it's a good idea. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do this
Yeah, because it can be a
because
headache.
yeah, especially with are they going to be coordinating with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo to try to say, okay, here's y'all slots? Or are they going to be like, okay, look, we know y'all got y'all own YouTube channels. Tell us what y'all want to do on y'all day so we can pump it through our
Yeah.
channel and Twitch channels, and we all do it all at the same time, so everybody be able to get the different feeds. That way, we won't clog up anything.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's probably the wise thing to do,
Hmm.
because there ain't gonna be a need for like uh conferences, you know. So
Yeah,
there'll
it
be no
don't
need
make
for that.
sense.
Yeah. So everybody just have, okay, look, you're still gonna have Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo do Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll
Mm-hmm.
still have EA do Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And since Bethesda got bought, we don't need to worry about them killing the day. So oh, there you go, Andre, you're back.
Yeah, Wi-Fi decided it wanted to drop me in the middle of me starting a sentence.
Hey,
Okay,
you gotta
so
love it.
your thoughts on the whole E3 2021 going digital?
It's the only thing that makes any sense for them to do because otherwise they're going to completely lose money. And at
Hmm.
that point, it's just one of them things. It's like we knew it had to go this direction at some point. They should have just done it last year. They should have already had this stuff in place if anybody was paying attention to what Nintendo did.
Right.
But
It was clear Sony and Microsoft paid attention to what Nintendo did because they was able to put out stuff last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
they put a lot of stuff out last year.
Yeah, and did it quickly.
Hmm.
So I, I do wonder though how much money did they lose, because I remember listening to because I like basketball and football, and college basketball last year, because they didn't have March Madness, lost like $5 billion
Yeah.
just because they didn't have March Madness. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's why, because people are upset about them doing it, but I'm like, I can't, I understand, but I also understand from the business standpoint why they're doing it, because one, you already got them TV contracts, and they like,
Hmm.
uh, y'all finna have this All Star game, y'all finna have this Super
Yeah.
Bowl, y'all finna have this. You're going to have it because those TV contracts are like, hey, I don't care, ain't no fans.
Right.
I don't care.
Somebody gonna go
Y'all,
out there and play.
yeah, y'all told me when we did this contract back in 2014, y'all told me y'all gonna play here, 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 and here. And
Hmm.
ABC, CBS, and TNT, they were like, nah, y'all said we got you on contract. It's legally binding. I understand from the business standpoint. I'm just wondering like how much money did they actually lose?
That is a good question. I mean, because you think about renting out certain locations, and you think
Mhm.
about the state of California and how much they invest into the whole ordeal. I mean, there's a lot of people that lost money with E3 not being involved, and especially when you go the digital route, we run into the issues of connection issues, pacing issues. There, I mean, this is going to be a first run, and honestly, like I said before, E3 was kind of slowly dying down anyway. So after this first run, if it's not hype, I can foresee this is kind of going
Well,
away.
honestly, I think they need to just start moving it around, like get it out of California.
True,
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
get it out of California.
Because it used to be in Atlanta at one point in time, wasn't it?
They had one show in Atlanta, and they had one show
Okay,
somewhere else, and then they went back to L.A. They went back to California because I guess
okay.
because uh, California came down on them taxes. So
Okay.
you know, it's usually about that. It's usually about the money if they move. But this time, like they should probably just move, just because to me it'll probably make more sense to like try to showcase other places,
Hmm.
I guess. And right, especially right now, Cali, you ain't going no big gatherings.
mm,
They ain't doing that.
No,
yeah.
nah.
They're like, and there's no way for their vendors to the vendors that were paying to be there to make extra money anyway.
Yeah,
Right. Hmm.
because let's just say, for argument's sake, if they did allow 10%, 15% capacity, they still ain't making no money.
No,
Mm-mm.
it's not happening.
They won't even break even at that point.
They would need like I think I remember reading somewhere I want to say it's Wall Street Journal, like they would need to, because they were talking about pro stadiums and stuff, they would need to get at least up to like 30% capacity for them to start making a profit on some of those games.
Sheesh.
Like you can't have. That's why especially in the NFL, they were having all them blackouts of like Jacksonville because wasn't nobody showing up.
Right.
So they were like, okay, man, we can't put y'all on TV and y'all got a 80,000 seat stadium and it's only 5,000 people there.
Yeah, that's hard to fill out or
Yeah,
make it look like it's filled out.
yeah. So they kind of that's why I understand the business side aspect on that side. So it'll be interesting to see. I would just always wonder like how much money did E3 actually really lose? I know Tokyo Game Show probably lost a lot just because that's tourism and
Mm-hmm.
because they have people come from all over the world for TGS.
Right.
Um, I know that. Well, you probably could say they have a lot of people come from all over the world too for E3, but it just didn't seem like that a lot of the times. A lot of times it just did not seem like that. So, let's talk about Sony's drifting DualSense controllers. So, all y'all that said that nobody else's controllers drifting, I was like, yeah, controllers drift a lot. I mean, it's a it's a piece of electronic equipment, and
Yeah.
every now and then you do get bad batches. But
Yeah.
so like yeah, in the Nintendo situation with the Joy Cons, I think I know why it's doing that. But I haven't read anything to support my theory. But I think it's because of how small they are,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
those
thinking
things
too.
are a little bit bigger than the circle pad on the
Yeah.
3DS when you think about it. It's not a
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
That's why I like your. That's why your Pro controller and your nunchuck didn't have that problem.
Right.
They were they were sturdier. The Joy Cons aren't exactly. Now I don't have a DualSense controller, so I can't tell you why it's doing that. But all controllers have that. There are Microsoft controllers that have. I think the only one I've never heard of having a drifting issue, and I'm pretty sure there were a few that probably did, was those Microsoft Elite controllers. That's because you could change
Oh,
the
they
modes
did.
out.
They
I,
did.
see, I never
They did.
read about any of them, but the thing is, the real reason that you have all them different pieces, you could probably change that out, and it probably
Yep.
Hmm.
would help. But they now have a class action lawsuit. I did not see this coming. I'm not gonna lie, because most people
I
make
didn't
up
either.
excuses. Most
Oh
people
yeah.
like, oh, because I was waiting for the IGN article where they said that these drifting just brings the nostalgia of the 1990s back. I've seen them say stuff like that. I've seen them say that that there were nostalgic glitches in uh Fallout.
Oh yeah, that was.
Nostalgic glitches.
Oh my god.
So I was waiting for that IGN article. That IGN article never came. I was kind of hurt by that. I really was.
Yeah, I mean, I was highly surprised when I saw that they did a lawsuit for the controller because PlayStation got that Teflon vest, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really touch them. So when I saw this happen, I'm now waiting for Microsoft's to happen because that controller drifts too. So I'm kind of curious as into when that's going to pop up, and eventually they're going to have to figure out better controllers to start, or better sticks or better material for these sticks to go into these controllers because
Yeah.
they're very old from what I've seen and from what people have said that this isn't new tech or new material. It's something that's always been a problem. So,
Ah, gotcha.
hmm
Mr. Shadow Fox, how are you doing, sir?
Greetings. How are you, gentlemen?
All right.
looking smooth with them
Doing pretty good.
glasses.
I'm
Random
trying.
question. Random question. You have a PS5, right?
Yes.
How's the DualSense controller?
No drifting yet.
You already knew.
Keyword.
Yeah.
Keyword. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no drifting as of yet. So, but currently both me and my son are being careful. Like he's not even he didn't buy the Spider-Man game because of issues that we heard about with save states and whatnot.
Mhm.
So we play NBA 2K and other PS4 games, and we close every game. We
Right.
don't leave any of them running. Xbox Series X is fine. I
Okay.
just like I'm playing a 360 game right now. What's the name of the game? Life is Strange or whatever, and
Okay.
it does the auto 4K, it does the auto HDR, all of that, and I can go in and out of save states at will. I have like 9 games running right now, so I have Killer Instinct and a whole bunch of other games. I have Halo 5 loaded up and all that running at one
Heathen.
time.
Sorry.
But it works though. It works.
All right.
It works as designed. So I don't know how. It's just strange how I thought that was like the main focus of PS5, and that was the reason why they decided to have variable clock rate, so that kind of stuff wouldn't be a problem.
Mhm.
But Series X is doing it just fine. Like it just doesn't have the first party game.
Yeah.
So it's whatever, man. Like,
I mean, clearly, Shadow Fox, they need to roll back the netcode. So,
Woo.
that being said,
Oh, you
we're gonna
know,
have that
like,
conversation.
you just reminded me. Look, you reminded me of that conversation with dude on Twitter, and he was talking about
Oh.
how dedicated servers would work better than peer to peer.
I'm so glad you just decided to
And
give up because I'm like
Yeah.
every time he comes up, God, I just
but the one thing, and me not being a techie, I'm thinking like the things that he's talking about is everything that Google talked about with Stadia, and that doesn't work
Yep.
because that's predictive inputs that
right.
the dedicated servers will have to give you.
His,
And if
his
and
evidence
this
was a PR
calculates
statement from
something,
2013 where Microsoft said that every game will have dedicated servers. It's just saying that Xbox Live support will have a virtualized server for every instance of a game. That doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, every game is going to be hosted on said server. It means that the features that you need, matchmaking, or however you want to set up peer-to-peer and all that, there will be a back end for that. But reading and comprehension is just...
and on the reading and comprehension note, Panic Button. Now, this is another one where Shadow, you had fun on Twitter the other week.
Yeah.
Panic Button did an interview talking about Doom Eternal on the Switch. Now, the title of the article talked about the 20 frames per second for the actual cutscenes,
Right.
not the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow,
So
take it away. Just take it away, Shadow.
apparently that experience is compromised after finding out that information. And keep in mind, this information is only found out from Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry lets this information out, and people run with it, and they say, "Hey, it's the worst thing ever." And we're like, "Okay, so when did you experience the 20 frames per second?"
Right.
Oh, it hurts my eyes. Blah blah blah. I'm like, first thing I'm trying to think of: how are you getting vertigo, or how are you getting dizzy from a screen that you're holding like this? Because at the end of the day, the whole conversation ended up being, this is only applicable to when you're playing undocked. When you're playing docked, everything is 30 frames per second all the way through, and they don't want to have that conversation.
I thought it was, the reason why I brought it up because I thought it was funny, and so I am subscribed on the Square Enix and NetherRealm. I'm subscribed to the newsletters, and Square Enix sent out a newsletter last week talking about the Marvel Avengers game on PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. I saw something that was funny. I wanted to send it to you, but I kept forgetting to, Shadow. So on one column, they have what the text what it's going to be like playing on your PS4 and your Xbox One and PC. Then on the other side, they have what the specs are going to be for your 4K native and your 120 frames per second and all that. I found it funny. The game is, if you play on 4K, it's locked at 30. You can't up it to 60 or 120.
Oh.
It's locked at 30.
Oh, who would have thought? Oh.
Square Enix sent this to me. I didn't ask them for that. Square Enix sent this to me. But if you play it on PS4 and Xbox One and PC, it's 1080 60 locked in. But if you play it on your new consoles and if you turn that 4K on, you're getting 30 frames a second.
So
hey,
I never
does this make the game unplayable?
one of my favorite games of all time is Ocarina of Time. Another one is GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. I mean, and they are choppy as hell, but
yes,
because they are fun and the input delay is minimal, the gameplay itself is actually doable. Like, it's a very good experience because the problem with the main complaint about frame rate lag came from PC because the frame rates were so bad, your input response was bad. So, but if you have a game that's literally designed around said bad frame rate, and they say, well, you know what, when you press A, you're still gonna jump like instantly on your end, even if the frame rate is crap. What's the problem?
Right.
The whole point is whether you can play it or not. That's the term playable.
The problem is media talk and people using the phrases and words that they hear gaming media say because that's what sounds cool to them, and they think it makes them sound intelligent when it really doesn't.
Yep.
I just thought the problem was
I just tweeted like not too long ago about a 120 frames per second post, trying to talk down to people about 120 frames per second. And I'm like, now if you really want to talk about actual technical details of how a frame is drawn and how they're updated every frame, and whether that's CPU related, RAM related, or GPU related, we can have that conversation. But it sounds to me like you're just throwing buzzwords out there and you don't really want to have that conversation.
Right. Personally, I thought the problem was they didn't roll back the netcode.
Oh, yes, they gotta fix that almighty netcode.
Yeah, you gotta roll back the netcode, Sony and Microsoft. You gotta roll back the netcode.
Yeah. Troll.
Man, dude, netcode is real, okay?
Yeah. Just like tightening up the graphics. It's real.
Netcode
Twitter makes my head hurt. Twitter makes my head hurt.
Hey, dude, look, netcode is real because we went to war with Katsuhiro Harada because he tried to say it wasn't real.
Are we too old to be talking about that? The old Full Sail commercials and they independent. I forgot Digipen. They used to have commercials too, and their whole thing was, hey, if you go to our school, then you'll be able to work for Nintendo. Kind of situation.
I remember that,
they have the commercials in there that's like
those are some big claims to make.
Yeah, those are real big claims, but that's how they got people there. All right, so right before we go into the Nintendo Direct, we got one more thing to talk about, and this is a rumor, but I think it's kind of bordering on the true side, especially since we're getting Monster Hunter Rise coming out next month. And apparently, and I got this came from an article off of NintendoLife.com. Capcom is apparently bringing RE Revelations 3, that's Resident Evil Revelations 3, to Switch, and it's supposed to be announced either at E3 or sometime later this year. And I wanted to get you guys thoughts. I played the first Resident Evil Revelations. I love that game. I didn't really care for RE2. Revelations 2, I thought it wasn't that good. That's the one that went the episodic route first. And then when they tried to put it all together, and I went and bought it, and I'm like, this some bullshit. So RE Revelations 3. And now remember, we're getting The Village this year for I don't even want to. Well,
Xbox, Sony, and PC.
Yeah, we're getting it for those with the extremely tall lady that a lot of lonely dudes really want to want to get to know better.
I mean, just Rosalina, man. If you just want a really tall woman, Rosalina or Samus, I don't.
No, man, Pyra Mithra. But but yeah. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on this because personally, I think it's a good idea because I'm 50-50 on this. It depends on what we see. If this is true, it depends on what we see. But I remember back in the 90s, they used to do this a lot where if the systems were different, they just made different games for each one.
Yeah. Yes.
And everybody made money.
Yeah.
See, the rivalry was better for the gaming industry, not the war. The rivalry got us good games. The wars gotten us nowhere. Really gotten us nowhere.
The war got us copy paste games, it got us glitchy games, it got us boring games, it got us graphically impressive but very vapid games.
Yeah. Because I mean, it was sometimes like back in the day, you could be on the wrong end of the stick. Because like for me with wrestling, I mean, when you came in with 64, you were winning. PlayStation, not so much. But then things picked up on PS2 and they kind of went from there with it. But I mean, yeah, you're right. We had different games for different systems because they fit that system, and that's what I feel like still should be done. But, like you said, copy and paste. Go ahead and get it on out there.
Nothing will ever beat WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
Since I'm a Nintendo fanboy only, it still hurts my soul to this day that Cyberpunk 2077 looks as bad as it does on the base Xbox One. Because that's the system that made Sunset Overdrive possible. Yeah. So you have an example of what to do with ESRAM to make a large world game. You just said, fuck it, we're going to port our PC code over here and like, oh, it doesn't work. tighten up the graphics on level 3 and ship it. Like,
Yeah,
you
man,
actually have to do work. Like, I don't.
Sunset Overdrive should have got way more love, man. Sunset
Yeah.
Overdrive should have got
Look,
way more damn
like we
love.
have said multiple times, had that been a Wii U game,
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
It
would've been on
screamed
the pop.
Nintendo. That entire game screamed Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, Splatoon.
Yeah.
Still don't get the love and
But it's
respect they deserve.
it's
Yeah,
Splatoon is a whole nother.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't gotten to the direct yet.
Yeah.
yeah. And now, everybody, welcome to the main event. So, the Nintendo Direct, the 50-minute epic that pissed off a whole lot of people for some apparent reason. All right, so going into it, first things first. Yeah, Nintendo, they need to stop trolling with me thinking I was about to get another Xenoblade Chronicles 2 expansion. Sakurai, you're evil.
So the only reason I think it didn't fool me, namely because your girl kind of let the cat out the bag.
Yep.
Because her voice acting gig wasn't that long.
Mhm.
So I was like, and she's like, oh, a lot of screaming and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, so is it another DLC? If it's not another DLC, then we know it's Smash. And she kind of didn't say anything. And for those that do not know, yeah, Sky Bennett, she's under heavy NDA. She can't tell you. And so our project ended up being short, and therefore it's for Mithra and Pyra.
So the funny thing, do you want to know why I knew it wasn't? Because Rex's spoilers for a 3-year-old game. Rex's crest was back on his chest.
Yeah, that was that too.
I'm like, God damn it!
Like, what's happening? Like, why would they disappear if the crest is there? Like, all he has to do is make them appear. But
I mean,
they're not going to go too far.
Yeah, we know Drone Crush would have made him appear. So, now the thing is, and I want to get back.
Shout out to Drone Crush.
Shout out to Drone. Yeah, Super Bros, man, we love you, dog, man. We love you, dog.
Man, it's thirsty as hell.
Dude, hey, if y'all want to have a good laugh at Twitter, man, please follow our boy Drone Crusher. He will have you laughing and hungry at the same time.
That's
but this goes back to what we said a couple months ago. How the hell does Sakurai's art team do a better job with the character design than the people that did their own game? Because Pyra and Mithra look better in Smash than they do in Xenoblade Chronicles. Do not at me. That's the truth.
I'm still trying to figure out on that note, why do we not know that it was automatic at that point once Mithra literally got Smash stockings in the game for DLC? Yeah. At that point, we should have known. Like, it's literally called. It's for Smash Bros.
Well, we should have known something was up.
Yeah.
So, because while there were some fake outrage, because let's be honest, it was fake outrage because you couldn't really see nothing. There was some fake outrage behind it. The stockings, they really didn't have to do that because it wasn't like you could see anything anyway. Yeah. Not really. And so at that point, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I think you said something about a year ago, Shadow, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
So y'all gonna change it, but she wears an entire bathing suit in the whole game anyway. So whatever was under the dress, you see anyway. So it's just
it was weird. It was weird. But
and also, she's not a girl; she's a nuclear weapon. So
right.
Well, don't tell some people that, because the artwork has shown that she is a very lovely lady. The artwork, boy, some of these people, I got to give the art. People that are great at art, I got to tell y'all something, man. Y'all are inspiring, because that before the direct was over, there was new artwork out. I'm like, God dang, y'all fast.
It don't take them long.
Yeah, I'm talking about hand drawn, fully colored. I'm like, y'all was just waiting on that.
Yeah.
There's probably some people who had a tip off anyway, and they're just waiting to drop their art. That's all.
Yep. So now, gameplay wise, they look dope. They look dope. I got to give them that. Sakurai did not disappoint on the gameplay wise with the powers. The only problem I think I'm gonna have is we got to do down B to transform again.
Probably.
Which means I'm gonna be doing it by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Sheik Zelda all over again.
Yeah.
I just want Newman to show up. That's all I want. But then I don't know, since they're trying to get people to play the game. Smash is essentially an advertisement as well.
Yeah, they can't do that because
Maybe that would be bad.
That's a massive spoiler. They couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing too is I'm like, I thought they was gonna do that in the final Smash because if you look at Schultz final Smash when they have Fiora them show up, where they just said, "Fuck it, we gonna put Fiora
They show her in her new form.
Yeah. Like fuck it, we gonna put Fiora in. Y'all just got to deal with it." So that's what I thought they were gonna do, but they didn't do that. They just did Sacred Arrow and the
Burning Sword. Yeah.
Burning Sword. So I'm like, okay. Interesting, but one thing, Sakurai, I'm gonna need you to stop this blasphemy against Link with him getting beat by all these people.
Hey,
I know he don't. Look, I know he don't have the Triforce of Courage. All right, I know Breath of the Wild Link does not have the Triforce of Courage. Don't make me go back to Twilight Princess Link. But I would say I am looking forward to it. I think that was actually a good addition, honestly. To be completely honest, I think that was a good addition. I know some people didn't like it, but I'm like, dude, it's from a Nintendo franchise,
there's a big difference. Over here, people complained about it,
right?
Where the like ratio is still higher than the dislike ratio, but Nintendo of Japan, people they were through the roof with likes for that. This is like night and day. I think like maybe a tenth of the people disliked it.
Right. Yeah. And I think like the bigger issue here too, which I don't see it so much with Japan, we buy so much into rumors that when they don't show up, then everything is a disappointment.
Yep.
Which is stupid, like because that's people hyping themselves up for something that wasn't promised.
Setting yourself up for failure.
Rumors are rumors, man. Just take them with a grain of salt. If they show up, great. If they don't, they don't. Now a leak
is different.
Very likely. Like increase the percentage from 30% to 70%. Right at that point.
Now, let me preface this before we go any further. I'm not going through every game in the list, so I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna highlight some of the bigger stuff because they did a lot of stuff in the news things.
DC Superhero Girls? We're not gonna. I mean, it's published by Nintendo.
No,
don't make me there going buttshot Larry. You through this damn Skype, but yeah, because there's only one thing from the news events that I'm gonna talk about, but I'm not going through every single one of these things. Mm-hmm. If you want, you can actually watch the trailer, watch the whole direct. I am thinking about going through and probably doing a play-by-play. I may go on to do that this weekend. I'm still working out that. If I do, I'll load it up on this channel as well as the gaming channel. So we're not gonna go through everything. That being said, because I'm skipping over the next three things. Samurai Warriors 5. All right.
I mean, they might as well go ahead and do it. They might as well try and see how they compare to Hyrule Warriors.
Here's the thing: like the Warrior series is not a bad series, but I think the thing I'm looking forward to this was they reworked the entire visual output of it.
Right? Yeah,
and I think that's gonna help because when you look at like One Piece Pirate Warriors, you look at Fire Emblem Warriors, Hyrule Warriors. They all look different, but they all have that cell shade look to it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are becoming more they're becoming more used to that cell shade look.
Yeah.
So I think that actually works and it actually makes the visuals pop to me, make it stand out better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they do it that way. So I'm actually looking forward to this one. Now I don't know if I'm gonna pick this up because this says summer of 2021 and there's some stuff that says getting released for summer 2021. Yeah. Now another thing about this direct too that I just noticed because I follow like all of the gaming stuff on the majority of the gaming YouTube channels from the actual teams like Koei Tecmo and stuff. A lot of these games that was in the direct are going everywhere.
Yeah.
Samurai Warriors 5 is one of them. The Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, they're coming everywhere. Plants vs Zombies is already out on everything.
Fall Guys
finally got. You said Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, I see it. Ninja Gaiden. Yeah. Apex Legends is already out on everything. So a lot of this stuff is actually coming out on everything if it's not already out. So
right.
Mm-hmm. That's another one.
Be more hype on the Switch because people don't expect it to be there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that third party support argument that is going away. Like
what do we watched a while ago?
Well, I think to me, I think what helped a lot is teams like Panic Button
Yeah.
completely understanding the Switch. So when they show up with a port, it ain't bad because um, my only problem with something like Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch is the fact that everything seems great. Even the gameplay seems great, but when you start getting in-game fighting, it looks pretty bad. Like it
It's
looks
muddy.
Dreamcast level bad.
Yeah.
So I would love to have seen what like Grizo or Panic. I don't think Panic Button or Grizo touched that.
No, it
No,
was
they
somebody.
probably
It was another team that did
Yeah.
that. Shiver, I think, did theirs.
Yeah, see, I would have liked if it was Panic Button would have touched it. I want to know what it would have looked like if Panic Button would have touched it.
Well,
I want to know
Probably
what it
look
looked like
like
if another realm touched it. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother
That's a whole
80
nother
million consoles, bro. 80 million.
dude.
Yeah.
He's mad because Sub Zero's not in Smash. Let's leave it at that. So
well,
Yeah.
well, he can only blame himself for saying that Smash should have been multi-platform and that Mortal Kombat couldn't have been on the Wii U. So
yeah,
you gotta blame yourself for that.
you can only blame yourself, bruh.
Wow. I mean, but they could
Your,
also
your
do the
mouth
same
ran
thing
before your brain processed.
that because I know it's not Activision that's doing it. They have another port house that's doing it. They completely changed the look of Crash
Yeah,
that's getting
Yeah.
ready to come out. So I mean, you don't have to stick to the way the game looks across all platforms. You can
No.
tailor make it for the console.
if you need to. I mean, that's
Right.
Yeah.
if you need to. That's and that doesn't make it any less better on the other consoles. It's just
Right.
like you're working with what you got.
But
Right.
And I think a lot of the times it's not even whether you can or not. It's just whether you have the time or not. Because
True.
we're slowly. I mean, we're not slowly finding out. We should have known on paper a long time ago that all the CPU bound games are going to run better on Switch because Switch has a better processor and better speed per core, and it's got more access to memory than those older consoles. So it's not even going to be. It's pretty much a night and day difference. It's just whether the team is like, hey, let's take this engine and make it look better on here, or we'll build it from the ground up for Switch for here. A lot of times it's not that. They take the base code and just get it to run first with the third party port house while the main team is working on something else. Right. So if somebody sat down and made a game from the ground up for it, which I think is going to happen with this Resident Evil Revelations game, we're going to start to see different things that are going to make that console stand out on the third party standpoint. Because like right now, all they're doing now is like, hey, we can port certain things, but we can't port other things because of this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but all the arguments y'all made during the 7th and 8th generation, like all of those were wrong too. So why are you still going down this road? And they're going to continue to do it. They're going to say, hey, look, well, PS5 and Series X games can't run because of SSD and all that. And I'm just like, really? Bandwidth? Really? Internal bandwidth is always faster anyway. Well, the fastest part of your code, just put it there, and then your game will work. But this, I'm nerding. Excuse me. I should just be a consumer. I should just use the buzzwords that they choose for me within the industry.
I mean, personally, I just think they should roll back the netcode.
Yeah, roll back the netcode.
But this still leads to what I've said before, and that's that Nintendo should just have their own teams for bringing third-party games over.
That would be smart.
Well, Grizo is their team, right?
Are they?
Is it Grizo their team?
I was going to say they did, but EA took them. Timberrun was Nintendo only for a long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Nintendo should have them on their own payroll.
Yeah, I think Grizo is.
If they are, then that's what they need to do. Just have their
Grizo was the one that did Majora's Mask. They did Ocarina of Time. They did it was another one they did, another port that they did. I can't remember the name of it, but I think Grizo is Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken. I think they are. I know somebody in the chat is probably going to be correcting me right now. Be gentle. So
you don't have the internet in front of you. You can't be as smart as you are when you're on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
So
pretending to be.
Yeah. Just be gentle, please. All right. So that being said, Monster Hunter Rise. They showed some new monsters. I have nightmares. So that being said, they did show the Rampage. And me and Jack talked about this the other night. This is gonna be ridiculous because I went back and watched that trailer again. There was a situation where they showed the spider monster from that beginning trailer. They showed two of them walking into that Rampage thing.
Yep.
This is gonna get ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell y'all right now, before I do that, I'm gonna need y'all help. So
hopefully the dash cancel spam glitch is still in there, so you can grapple, dash cancel, grapple.
From the trailer, I
like
felt
it
like they
is.
left it in there from the trailer.
Then I'm gonna spam it. I'll kill everything.
Yeah. But that part looks crazy, but it looks crazy fun too, because it looks
Right.
like they'll have weapons on the platforms and stuff that you'll be able to use as well as your own weapons too. I know one thing I am a little worried about is like I wonder how many monsters they're gonna have in the waves, because if you're talking about 5 or 6 monsters, and me and Jack, it took us what, an hour and a half to take down Mizusune.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be something where those cannons are quicker to take them down or something.
Right.
Because if we got to do this and it's like 4 or 5 of them, and then we got to, on top of that, we got to fight an Apex. This
Yep.
is gonna take a while.
I mean, I think my bigger issue too. I mean, of course, you see multiple monsters on the screen when you're running through, but I mean, these are like the full-fledged monsters that you hunt, and there's multiple on the screen at the same time. Not to mention 4 players. How's it gonna run?
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, that's a lot. Unless what they're doing is okay. Wave 2 won't start until the wave 1 people are already dead or about to die.
Right.
That's the only way I see this like working. And the waves aren't more than like 2, because some of those monsters are big. Like Rathalos was in one of them. Like, ain't no way you're gonna have 5 monsters. Rathalos wingspan take up every. You ain't gonna be able to see nobody. So, or if you wire bug a monster, maybe that'll help. Take it out quicker.
We'll
Maybe.
see.
But I am hyped for it. But like you, Jack, I am worried because I'm like that. Yeah, that's a lot to take in.
I'd imagine once you have more experience with the game, you'll be strong enough to kind of take those things out. But I know starting out just with
they can't
regular
do that the first
gear,
hour.
That don't seem like a mode you can throw yourself into at the start.
Nah, you probably won't even see it until you complete a certain portion of the game.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, they finally. Thank you, because I was there. I was about to go to Play Asia. The special edition is coming to the States.
Good.
Yeah.
I was about to go to Play. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of y'all hate. I'm tired of y'all hating. I will go to Play Asia and start my addiction all over again.
And Play Asia's been around for a while. I got a Panasonic Q like that.
Because I will get that. I'm getting that special edition Pro controller. I'm getting it.
Okay. I like your Joy-Con. That's nice to me.
Yeah, I'm getting. I know I'm getting that Pro controller. The hell with that. Like, if I have to go to Play Asia, so be it. So, but it is coming. But the thing is, like, I've been looking. Some people said they were able to pre-order. Everywhere I've looked said you can't pre-order. It's day of. That's the only time you can get it.
Oh wow!
Because I was looking at Best Buy, they have the thing on there, but it was like only available starting March 26th.
I would imagine that's how they would do it, because that's exactly what they said about the Zelda Joy-Cons. Like, you get it the day the game releases.
So I'm guessing they're making this ain't no real like limited edition. This is like, look, we make it. They usually going to stay for a set amount of time. Because like the Xenoblade Chronicles one was a special edition until was a limited edition until people were like, "Hey man, put the damn controller back out." And they went and did it, because I think it was a limited edition for about 3 months.
Yeah, and it was $200 for a good bit of that time.
Yeah, but then like after that, they like, okay, we'll let a couple people get it, and you go online, you can get it for $89 or $99. You're gonna pay a little extra, but you'll be able to get it. But this one they're acting like, nah, this ain't gonna be no limited edition. We're selling these from now on. Which, hey, thank you. Now do one for Metroid. So, Mario Golf is back. Complete.
That actually looks like a lot of fun.
See, I'm not alone in this, Jay.
Dude,
it's just the weird mode of hit the ball, chase it, and try to.
I like
it.
That.
Sounds funny, but it looks like it'd be a lot of fun, especially
Mario Golf.
You got a bunch of drunk adults around playing that game.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Look, we have to buy these games, because if we do not buy Mario Golf, the chances of us seeing another Camelot RPG are low.
Oh yeah.
So we have to
Yeah.
make sure we got to
Well,
buy these Mario Golf games, guys.
I'm
We
gonna
got-
be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Like the Mario sports games, whether you love them or hate them, they are really well made.
Oh yeah.
They are.
Definitely.
Now Mario Tennis, they did have their little hiccups with it, but I want to say probably after like a month and a half, they got stuff. They got stuff
fixed
locked
it.
down
Mhm.
quick. So
That's a totally different game from release. Totally
Yeah.
different game.
now Mario Golf, I don't foresee them having those issues because they already took
Mhm.
they hits with that, so they already know what they're doing. Now, me personally, I'm not as hyped as I probably should be for it. But I did say that Speed Rush does look crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Especially when they show like Luigi ice skating down the thing. And I gotta bring this up. How did Bowser get pants on?
Hey.
Custom
not-
made.
Hey.
Custom
Not
made.
understanding.
See?
Not understanding.
He
Maybe
went
ever
with, he went
since
with Taylor.
maybe ever since the whole the Bouette and Bowsette situation. It's like, well, if I can wear a dress, I can wear anything. So full suit it is.
I just find it funny, people, because even in Mario Odyssey, when he had the whole comb over hair and the top
Yep.
hat, and I'm like, first of all, what tailor did you go to? They put your suit on and put the shell on top of the suit.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bowser said there's no limits.
Yeah,
Hey. That's how it
yeah,
go.
yeah. So hand tailored, of course.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm just kind of curious about the motion controls because it's kind of hit or miss sometimes when you play it because it's not your Wiimote situation, but it's kind of hit or miss sometimes with the Joy Cons. But I think I'll be playing it a regular way anyway. I'm not
Well,
going to be doing it with motion controls.
here's my thing. My hands are a little bit large. And with the Joy Cons, I think we need to have a conversation about people like me whose hands are a little bit big because
With-
either that or let me get the Wii remote back.
Even
or-
with the extra grips on there, you still
Yeah, because like the
mine cramp without the grip. Once I put the grip on, I'm good.
Mhm.
I think it's the right control, the right Joy-Con. It still has
Mhm.
that infrared sensor on it. Let me get let me get my Wii remote because it just feels more comfortable to me when I'm doing motion. Now,
Mhm.
I do have like fitness boxing, so it's not bad on that but with that you're just doing boxing
Yeah, you're
motion.
just doing punch motion.
So
Mhm.
it's not like I have to actually grip it to do anything. It's just punch motions.
Now,
When I do anything else though, it feels like it's about to fall out my hand,
Yeah.
even with the strap on. With the strap on,
the
to it, it feels
motion
like
the motion sensor puzzles in Breath of the Wild, I had to take the system out of the dock and play it portable so I can tilt the entire console. Otherwise, I couldn't. There
yeah.
was no way I could because the Joy-Con sitting in my hand, I could not turn my hands and I couldn't.
Yeah.
It probably would have took some more effort. I probably could do it with a little bit more effort, but the Joy-Cons
Well,
were so
if you-
small in my hand, the grip
If
a
your
little
hands
bit.
are big, it's gonna be it wasn't conducive. So I had to use the
Right.
Pro Controller. So I just used the Pro Controller for that. But that's my only issue, and that's why I was wondering, is there a way for us to use the Wii remotes if we have them? Since
Nah.
they might go the route they did with Mario Kart. They might sell you an accessory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
They
make a
should
golf
be able to
club.
do it, and the only reason I'm thinking they're not going to be able to do it is because of security.
Sure.
That's going to be the only reason. Because I mean, Bluetooth 4.0 is obviously backwards compatible with the Bluetooth 2.1 that was on Wii, but there's no reason for them to do that because they'll have to do that. And once Bluetooth is a personal area connection. So it's
Yeah.
always two-way implicit, unless you're talking about audio or something like that, where you have to have a special key to send or receive. But for controls, that's just data being transferred back and forth, and there's no stream of data. So yeah, that could probably be an issue if you open that one up, because all everybody's going to do now is they're going to play Mario Golf games and use that to introduce whatever bad code they want to put in.
Yep.
So that's
Straight hack through the game.
unfortunate, and I'm pretty sure that's what they were thinking, and that's probably why they haven't. At this point, I'm just like, just release a new Wii remote. Like you rebranded the old ones for Wii U. Like just
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
just make a new one with the newest standards in it and lock it down.
I
It is
mean,
what
and that's just for me because, like I said, the Wii remote made this feel better, and that's why I'm a little scared about Skyward Sword. You know what? Let me go and talk about Skyward Sword. That's the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant about Skyward Sword HD. Number one, while it is a Zelda game, and I usually rep hard for Zelda, um, the problem with that game is there's the back half of that game is repetitive as hell.
yes.
Now they make up for that with the last hour of that game being the most action packed I've ever seen in a Zelda game, hands down.
Along with the best dungeon ever seen in a
Yeah.
game in a very long time.
So
So
I'd say, well, I'll take that back. It's the last hour and a half of the game, because that whole gauntlet run, and then you have to face off with Demise.
yeah,
Spoilers
that's good
for
stuff.
a 10-plus-year-old game. That is that's awesome. I don't want to try to do that with the Joy Cons in my hands, and they don't feel good in my hands. I just don't want to have to try that. Now they did say they doing they giving people the option to play with your Pro controller. The
Yep.
problem is you got to use the right stick to
That's
do all the motions. That's not gonna work when the
there's
majority of
two
that game.
controls inside the controller. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
The problem is the doing it this way is going to be a problem because the whole purpose of Skyward Sword was showing off the remote and the actual motions. So it's gonna be weird trying to do it that way. It may work out, but I'm
It's
not
it's
100% sold on
it's
it.
going to be one of those things that makes it more difficult in the more intense moments.
Yeah.
But that's what people ask for.
That is true.
That is
Yeah,
what
you are
people
right.
ask for.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
what
am
they asked
glad
for.
that I made those suggestions almost 4 years ago.
The
And I don't
Predate a lot
Stalfos
of
fights
people.
later in that game, you don't have time to
yeah line
with
up.
a right stick. It's
No.
not gonna work.
Yeah. Now I will say this: I did not ask for that. So
Like I about to say, even playing with Metal Gear Rising, it was a pain in the behind then.
Yeah,
To
it
where
was.
you're trying to do the little slash attacks and you're like,
The
nah,
blade mode.
yeah, I can't stand that.
It was a pain in the butt, but if you played the game long enough, you got used to it. So
Right.
eventually,
With
you got
anything, yeah.
used
yeah, with the like, so I mean, I know people are mad about the pricing for Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Let me be the first to tell you, from a Zelda fan, if you don't like it, don't buy it. There, that's the only thing you can do. I
or
mean,
go ahead and go back and buy the Wii version and buy
yeah,
a Wii.
I don't
yeah.
have my
The,
Wii
the
U
people
though. I want to
complaining,
plug
I
it
want to
up.
see the purchase history for other games on other consoles.
That is true too. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people complaining, and look, if you want to complain, hey, do what you want to do.
Have at it.
But the problem is some of the comparisons y'all making don't make any sense
No.
because y'all aren't putting up Last of Us in 2013 with Last of Us in 2013
Mm-hmm.
Or or get this.
same price.
I've seen multiple people complaining, and I just looked through their post history, and they bought just about every version of NBA 2K, and they bought the $100 version. So I don't.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not looking good. History ain't
Because
working too good for
because
y'all.
coming from a 2K player,
Yeah,
those games are not worth that.
no.
They're not. They're not. Not even close. It may be a very good game because I'm not one that's going to just trash the entire series. Because it is a pretty good basketball game when you look in comparison to anything that we've had. But at the same time, for what you can be doing, I put them on the same par with EA with Madden. Y'all can be doing a lot more than what you're doing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Instead of advertising and getting celebrities to do all this extra stuff, put that money somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was good. I was good around. Was it 2K
The first one that Spike Lee did 12.
2K5 probably.
Oh, 5.
And then
Ooh.
after 2K5, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be an every other year kind of thing, just like
Of
Madden.
course.
Like every other year, it's gonna, 1 year I buy one year my son buys one, what have you. And then we go from there. We still end up getting all of them anyway for every platform, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not worth going and paying, an obscene amount of money to have it day one and all the quote unquote DLC and everything. And the core game really hasn't changed. Like,
No.
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't see.
we just gonna have to be honest about it. When 2K5 NFL 2K5 came out and gave the giant middle finger to the NFL and EA, that did them
$20.
in. That did them in
Yeah.
because at that point you're like, this will never be
Mm-mm.
worth what y'all claim it is.
Yep.
and it
But
never has.
Yeah.
No,
but
'cause
to
it's just
go on the
basically roster swaps.
pretty
Yeah.
much, I mean, then they do like some unnecessary changes.
Yeah.
But I mean, to kind of go into the whole pricing aspect of it, it kind of goes back into what you talk about, Shadow. If you're going to have those conversations about frame rates, you're going to have the conversations about our DNA. If you're going to have the conversation about pricing, you're jumping in a whole nother realm. So if you're going to talk about like frame rates, you're getting into the tech head. If you're going to
Yep.
talk about pricing, you're getting into business. So you need to understand if Nintendo has constantly released these games at $60, what do you think they're going to release a port at?
Exactly.
I mean,
Especially if they selling.
they're selling.
Thank you. It's selling. I can see if it's not selling, but it's like, okay, Nintendo, why you keep selling this at 60 if you're only selling 500,000? No,
No, they're selling millions.
look
They're
at
selling
Mario Kart.
millions.
Look at Mario Kart Deluxe. Like,
Yeah.
look at Mario Kart. It's killing it.
And look at Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yes.
Look at that one.
Definitive edition.
Yeah.
It is everything is outselling what the last one did. Now, most can say it's due to the Switch. You can say whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But even when we had this conversation last night, when we thought we had this recorded,
Yeah.
when it came down to Skyward Sword, everybody looked at it from the Wii standpoint of 100 plus million consoles. When you look at it, the Wii U came out next year. So
Yep.
that Wii had already been at the end of his life cycle. People had got rid of them or put them up in their closets. So that game wasn't going to get what it should have gotten
Mm-mm.
if it was in the middle or even at the beginning of the Wii's life
And
cycle.
it's still sold.
And it
Yep.
still sold pretty decent. Yeah. So I mean, now the Switch is about to just blow it out the water.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on because I think somebody actually went and looked on like Amazon and other pre-order sites. Pre-order sales are already through the roof.
Number one.
What was the other? What was one of my followers put out a post too, and he was like, "Yes, so but y'all were complaining about Nintendo Switch Online, and y'all wanted Virtual Console back
Yeah, I saw
because
that.
you wanted to buy all these games one at a time. Here you go,
Here
Yeah.
you go.
good 60.
It's
Go ahead and
Virtual
pay
Console.
for it. That's what y'all want.
I mean, if you want it, my only thing is because there was a guy who made a post and I was trying to find, I can't find it, but he was like, why are you getting mad at somebody else being happy?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the big one.
And so here's the other thing too for the Virtual Console people, like why isn't it on Switch? You can still get a Wii U. eShop still works for
Yeah.
Wii U.
Wii U
Those Virtual
still works
Console
on
games are
eShop,
still
yeah.
there. You can still buy them.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
It's still
Plenty of
up. Like
opportunity.
matter of fact, if you have a 3DS and you go on, it's the same one that's on the Wii U.
Yep,
It still works.
still there.
Yeah, they haven't shut it down. The only one they shut down was the one for Wii, and they shut that down what 3 years ago?
Yeah.
But again,
Finally.
it's the problem where the problem isn't the problem,
Right.
Yeah.
or we want this to be an issue because we want this to be an issue, not
Right.
that we actually want a solution to it.
Right.
Yeah. And
So-
on that note, we get into the newsworthy portion of the direct. No More Heroes 3 got a release date. Thank God. August 27th. So, yeah, Travis Touchdown is going to be back, and they bringing the job system back, which I don't mind the job. Some of the jobs are
I
actually
like it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the jobs are actually hilarious. I'm waiting.
So Bayonetta's going to be a holiday title then.
One of
That's
them.
the only thing I can think of at this point.
One of them is going to be a holiday title, Bayonetta, because some people still think that Breath of the Wild will not drop this year. I think it kind of will.
Bayonetta October, Breath of the Wild 2
Yeah.
November.
I think it's going to drop this year. They were mad because Al Newman said there's nothing to show. There's nothing to show here.
Yeah.
Right.
That
They'll do a
doesn't mean there's
dedicated
nothing to
direct.
show. So yeah, I'm still predicting it's going to come out this year. That's going to be the holiday release.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be the
That'd be
holiday release.
That'd be
Bay-
interesting because I mean, at the end of the month, we got something going on with Pokemon, right?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
anniversary.
The
So I'm kind
anniversary.
of curious about that too, because I mean, if there's something at the end of the year with Pokemon, I mean, they give them excuse to push Zelda to 2022.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because right now, I think what the problem is, they're trying not to cannibalize, and a lot of people are
Yep.
mad because they're like, "Well, we ain't had no Nintendo games for X amount of days." I'm like, "Bruh, did you not see the list of stuff that's coming out that ain't coming nowhere else?" Let's hold on one second. Project Triangle Strategy.
I
Not
don't
going
like
nowhere
those
else.
games.
It's on Nintendo.
so we
It's
gonna
not
pick and
going-
choose, huh?
It's on Nintendo. It's not going anywhere. What's the other one? They
Bravely
didn't
Default?
say, huh? Yeah,
Bravely
Bravely
Default
Default. Bravely Default 2. Monster Hunter Rise. Well, it's not from Nintendo. They're not being on nothing else. So whether they were made by Nintendo or not, they're on Nintendo. They're not going
exclusive
anywhere.
word
What
is a killer.
isn't the complaint that Nintendo consoles only sell Nintendo games? I thought that was the complaint.
That's the
Yes.
main complaint. Yeah.
So, well, they keep all these excuses keep showing up, and when answers to those excuses show up, they don't want
Goalpost gets moved.
It gets goalpost gets moved.
Look. When you give people information that they don't want, they go ahead and pull the Segata Sancho and move the whole goddamn goal.
There you go. Just move the whole goalpost and just run. Put the whole system on your back and carry it. Carry water for them.
Because we were talking about that too, to where like the main argument, Nintendo doesn't have any third-party games.
Yep.
But then the argument for this direct was it was too many third-party games. It wasn't enough exclusives. I'm like, come on now, y'all got to stop at some point. Let's just stop.
Yeah, just tell the truth. Gaming to you is a social experiment.
Yes.
And unless gaming press and the people that you follow and the games that they hype show up on Nintendo's consoles, they don't count to you.
Yeah, they don't count.
It's got to be those games. Just say that.
Yeah.
Just say that.
And it can't be Plants vs. Zombies. So, now I did.
Which means Madden can come because that's the same engine.
No, Madden alone. Nope.
That's
sad.
sad.
Right where is it?
Yeah.
EA is like,
So, Metopia is coming to Switch. And Andre, this one is for you.
Yes.
Andre, this.
So
Andre,
Wii remote should come out then.
Andre, this is for you.
Why is this one for me?
Because this is your fault. This is your fault.
How is this my fault?
You be calling them.
You predict this?
I think I did actually.
See? It's your fault.
It's all your fault.
And now we don't have me verse.
Okay, then blame me for the Ninja Gaiden trilogy.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Trust me.
That's fine, but you
did both. You did the trilogy and you did the remake of Razor's Edge too, right? I think you did. Did you do a video for both? Yeah.
No, they were all. That was all one video.
It was all one video.
And, then, and again, blame me for Skyward Sword.
Yes, we blame you for that.
Blame me for Hyper Light Drifter. Blame me for Ikaruga. Blame me
for that.
Blame me for a lot of stuff, because if you go check my videos, I called a lot of these. So just go ahead, blame me for a lot of stuff. You know what? Start blaming me when Nintendo puts out their own sports games. I will take. Well, they're already doing that, so I'll take the blame. Okay, but I have to unfortunately go, so that's why I'm just stopping you guys now.
All right.
So unfortunately, bye everybody.
Right,
y'all enjoy the rest of the podcast and shit talk me behind my back while I'm gone. But I'll catch you back later.
We would never do that
in front of me. All right. So,
see you, man. But Metopia is coming. My only problem with this is I kind of really miss Miiverse.
It's coming. It's got to be coming. It has to.
If they do it, that's like the end game, though.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate fu to everybody that this Wii U. Literally, they're giving you Wii U again.
Yeah.
In a different package.
And all they're doing is showing you how wrong Gaming Press was, because a console is about the games, and if the games are selling, that means they could have always sold.
Well, that was the thing, because I mean, we've said this at the beginning of this podcast when we first started. It's like the Switch is the biggest fu to the gaming industry, and Shadow, just going by your back and forth with Brian Altano from IGN is just proof of that. That back and forth was like,
and we got revisionist history. I never talked bad about Nintendo or the Wii U. I'm
sitting there like, he is denying everything, and we just started pulling out receipts.
Okay.
And I'm just like, bro, just admit that you did it. Just admit, because you didn't. And the Switch is proving like they took the damn near all the features out and gave you a bare bones and said the only thing you're gonna be able to do is carry it with you.
Yep.
We love this. Wait a minute. Time out. Y'all love this?
Yep.
I thought y'all said these games couldn't run. It's the same. Okay.
I thought you wanted more features. This console still doesn't have Netflix. I thought y'all wanted all these features. I thought all these features that you already have on your phone and elsewhere in your house, you want on your console.
Folders, themes. Yeah.
80 million plus. And it's still selling. So I'm like, this was the biggest fu to the gaming industry, and I've been here for it because I think it's hilarious. I think it's because it is a lot of revisionist history going on. And
it's just night and day to me to see them literally within a 2-week span in 2017 go from writing articles about how the Wii U is, how the Switch is supposed to die the same way as the Wii U for the same reasons, to all of a sudden, I played the Switch and it's great.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have played the Wii U too.
Because that was the crazy thing about it. Because whenever the Switch was being shown off at E3 that year, everybody was saying the same thing.
Yep.
I can't explain it to you. You just have to play it.
Yep.
And the same thing with the Joy-Cons. They was like, I know they talking about the ice, and it was a real cool meme and joke, but it's like, you just have to feel it. Trust me. And like you said, if they did the same thing with the Wii U, instead of listening to everybody else, it would have been fine. It probably would have been a situation to where you saying the Switch is trying to catch the Wii U.
Yeah. Which is what it should have been, but
yeah.
we ain't gonna,
it's crazy because that system did what Xbox One and PlayStation 4 promised to do and failed at doing. And that was system resume.
Yeah.
Those consoles still to this day, it's going to be hit or miss on what game you're playing, whether or not you can just shut your console off and then turn it back on and hop right back in the game. That's still a problem to this day. I've got dozens of games on Xbox One that still break if I turn the Xbox One off and I turn it back on. Now with Series X now, that's a little bit different. Right. But I still had one crash on Series X, and PlayStation 5 we're not even going to try. But Switch, press the power button. It goes to sleep. No sound, fan spins down. Press the power button back on. You press A or however many times or whatever, you're right back in the game.
Yep.
Or whatever you were doing. If you're on the home menu, it goes right back to that. Like, I think that was probably the most surprising thing for journalists to wrap their head around more than anything else. They're just like, hey, wait, this is the thing that we thought was game changing for other stuff, and it's here. Yep. And it's just gaming, nothing else. No, we can post to social media and stream. We can stream to whatever because streamers want consoles, and just game, and that's it.
I'm just waiting for that 1-2 punch. When they bring back Miiverse, and whenever they give you an option to play with, let's say, a Switch Lite straight to the Switch as a controller, that'd be the 1-2 punch right there.
Yeah.
Which I think Mario Party lets you do it already. So it's been experimented on. So
they're gonna get back to that asynchronous gaming. They're getting back to it, to be honest. So let's see. Going down the line, we're not triangle strategy we talked about. I am gonna put up some gameplay of that. So
that's good.
If you like Octopath Traveler, it looks like Octopath Traveler. It's from that Square Enix HD 2D series of stuff. Octopath Traveler, I love that game, but the issue with me with that game was it wasn't one centralized overarching story. It was everybody's individual stories and kind of like how they just crisscross paths. And I kind of was like, okay, they kind of made it disjointed for me a little bit. This seems like it's a more focused narrative. So
Octopath is going to be disjointed until the end game. It doesn't make sense until like you've beat it with everybody and then you do the end game. And a lot of people are not going to do that because it's really freaking hard. Mm-hmm. So
and it's really long. It's not quick. You're not doing this quick. So now if you're giving somebody a game because you need to check your finances, that is a game you buy and it's going to take them about a good 7-8 months. You're not speed running that.
I'm pretty sure this game is going to be the same because it took me, I looked up and it was 2 hours later and I've only done like 1.5 battles because you got to plan everything before you get started. So,
so that's going to be interesting. I'm usually not a fan of tactical RPGs, but if the story is good, I'm probably going to be there. So, and this looks like it's going to be a good story. So, I'm just waiting for the anime to come out. So, now we're down to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. They got an expansion pass coming. We knew this was coming. We knew this was coming. I already pre-ordered mine, so yeah. I know.
They didn't put any details in there. They just showed the logo for the season pass, right?
And they gave you details. They just shot it real fast.
Yeah, they shot it real fast. You had to pause it. It's you're getting a new character, expanded roster in the summer, expanded roster again in November.
Okay.
I don't know who. I have no idea who they're gonna bring because I'm not gonna say it because it'd be spoilers. But there's some things that happen in the game. I don't know who they bringing, unless it's who I think it is from that first Hyrule Warriors game, which I think they should have did already, and that's Lana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If they bring her, if she's one of them, yeah, and they're probably gonna bring Linkle.
Yeah, Linkle, because everybody loved Linkle.
Yeah,
Yep.
everybody loved her. So if they're gonna do that, yeah, there's supposed to be one more sequence scenario, I think.
Hmm.
So I think that was in the June one.
Yeah, because it was like what, 3 different releases?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the May, the initial one, which is the one new character, the one roster feature, something roster feature. Then scenario is June, and I think it's another scenario June with expanded roster.
Mm.
I
Hmm.
just don't know what expanded roster means. Because that got to remember the Age of Calamity is done in the Breath of the Wild style, so it's not done in the
Hyrule Warrior style.
Warrior
Yeah.
style. So I'm wondering if they
Right.
if the reason why it's taking so long is because they have to like
New art assets.
do all the new art assets and all that stuff, and it just took them a while to do it.
Right.
But yeah, that one and Ninja Gaiden Master Collection 1, 2, and Razor's Edge on June 10th. Um, I was wondering why Ninja Gaiden did not have a 4, but I'll take this.
I think I think I like the detail of this collection more than anything. The fact that they're making sure that you have Ninja Gaiden Sigma and not Ninja Gaiden Black, because Sigma has more stuff.
Mm.
And with Ninja Gaiden 2, I'm pretty sure that comes with all the additional DLC and all the additional weapons.
Well, they said
For
all of it's coming with all the DLC and weapons and
Yeah,
characters, so we'll be
and
able to
then
play from Get with everybody.
and Razor's Edge is the definitive version of Ninja Gaiden 3. Ninja Gaiden 3 doesn't exist. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Ninja
that
Gaiden 3
original.
base game does not exist.
Yeah, the base game is trash. Um,
So,
it is trash. The base game is now the Eraser's Edge. That's my jam.
yes.
Now how I played it on the Wii U, I set my gamepad here and Pro
Yep.
Controller all day long. So
And you can look at the moves and stuff on the
yeah,
gamepad while you play.
that's oh man, I miss the gamepad.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Hmm.
man, should they do it again? Should they try it one more time? Should this? I don't
Or
even want
give
to
me
make
a
this
tab,
segment.
or give me a just or if you don't want to do a whole gamepad, just give me an app so I can throw it on my phone or my tablet while I'm playing. Just do that.
Just think about this. Think about this concept now, right? You are literally making a successor to the Switch, but it's going to end up being a Wii U, and it's going to end up being a Wii U with a Wii U casing. So you take the Tegra processor, whatever evolution of it you want it to be, so it has however many teraflops or what have you to make whatever fanboy is happy.
Right.
You put that inside of a box, which means it has a power supply now, which means it's stronger.
Right.
And it doesn't have to have discs. It can still run on cartridges if you want or what have you. And you can use same Pro controllers or whatever. And you can have an additional Switch, or it works with the old Switch to be a second screen. And that way you can literally do your Wii U or gamepad comes with it or what have you. And you can do your second screen stuff with that. I'm just wondering, because at this point they could buy a more advanced version of the Tegra they currently have, or an entirely new chipset to make this possible for super cheap, and still be able to be able to give you the screen, which is probably going to be the most expensive part in this whole package. And I'm pretty sure they can sell that to you for $250 at this point now. Even with, even if it's the most advanced version of it's not I can't think of the name of the chipset now. I think it's Xavier 2, I think is what it would end up being. That I think will fit within that heat envelope anyway. So probably Xavier 2 chipset could fit in there, and then you have your Pro controller or your gamepad or whatnot. You fit that in there, and now you've got a 10th generation console, technically speaking. You could do your 4K output, if you will. You'll have the capacity to do that.
Shadow. We're way past 4K. We're on 24K now, dude.
Oh yeah. There's
Yeah.
16K movies being shot right now, so yeah, you're right. So,
with the 24K visuals.
so you can make
240
that
frames a
happen.
second.
You can make that happen, and it's directly backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch.
Now, the only thing I've looked at in regards to that, because I was thinking the same thing you were, how would you go from I'm playing it on the TV to let's take it on the go? Like, would you have to share the cartridge in some kind of way, or like?
I think at that point, what can happen is you have, and so this is going to work. The development kits work the same way. So it would just be backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch. So whenever you want to take a game on the go, unfortunately, that would mean you have to take the cartridge out and play it or whatnot. But then you're playing on a lower resolution anyway when you're taking it on the go and whatnot. Do you really want a 4K screen with you when you take, because it's going to mean your battery?
Oh no.
So I'll take
Or you get robbed,
720p
too.
or 1080p or what have you if it means that I don't have to charge my battery every 10 seconds.
Sure.
So whatever that means or whatever I have to do, it's going to end up being an issue. Like, and so some of the forethought will have to be there. If you do another Switch like that, I just have the feeling that if you do that, it's going to be the same problem that Wii U had, where people are going to be confused in the market. So it has to look different, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying, switching back to what the Wii U concept looked like as far as the actual traditional console, because now it's a box instead of that dock thing and the whatever. And then if you have an existing Nintendo Switch or whatnot, all those games are backwards compatible anyway. These games are not. It's not an issue of can the game run. It's just at what resolution it's going to run. And if you're playing on the go, do you really care like that? Because when you go back home, it plays on whatever you want it to be. Yeah. So I think that could be an answer. I don't know if Nintendo will go that way, but it'd be cool if they tried. Because they have the tech and they have the. I mean, right now they got NVIDIA in their pocket, so they can.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA ain't going nowhere.
Oh no,
like we make a hand over fist.
They don't have any more design wins from anybody else for the foreseeable future. So Nintendo is really their only option. So
and they making money because Nintendo's making money. So they making money. It ain't like they got to go nowhere. So we're close to the end here. Apex Legends don't care. So Star Wars Hunters kind of care, but I actually need to see it.
I want to see that.
I want to see it first. But yeah, Apex Legends, I really don't care. Splatoon 3 is how we end the show. And the problem that most people had with this is because they saw 2022 instead of 2021. Now, I will say this.
COVID?
Once again, this is one of those situations where I think this game was probably supposed to come out this year.
Yep.
But pandemic, they're not trying to cannibalize themselves. They still got to get stuff out that was supposed to come out last year.
Yep.
They're still trying to get that out. So we effectively what has happened in gaming is the same things that's happened with a lot of places, especially like movies and stuff like that. Everything that was supposed to come out last year that was slated had to get pushed back. So you have a lot of companies saying, okay, look, we can't cannibalize. So a lot of this stuff is going to get pushed back into half of this stuff is still going. We're going to try to make it come out this year. We're going to get cannibalized a little bit, but the majority of this stuff is going to get pushed back to next year. And that's how we just going to have to do it. So I think that's what's happening here. And on top of that, we don't know what's coming out the rest of this year anyway. So I think it's to their advantage to just go on and say, okay, 2022, because it might be the first part of 2022, depending on how they feel.
Yeah.
I mean, Splatoon can drop in January.
Splatoon was a summer game, wasn't it?
The first one was a summer game.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the first one was a spring game. The second one was a summer game. And this one, like I said, they could drop this one in January or February and still be good to go. So
I say it's got the buzz now. So I mean, you can do what you want now.
And now I will say this: I did like the trailer. It does look a little Fortnite-ish to me, but they have to change. They had to change it up to keep it interesting. So I'm as long as they have another story mode, because that story mode was hilarious.
That's what I thought when I first saw it. I was like, either this is DLC, which they said they were done, so I don't think that's the case, or this is going to be a new game. And when you talk about having a companion right next to you, I don't think that's going to be in the multiplayer aspect of it. So this got to be a story out the gate.
Story mode.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. I'm personally looking forward to it. I even went back and got back on Splatoon. I hadn't played in a while, and I need to get back on it. So I'm getting back on it. I got to get my stuff back right. I got to get myself back right. So because I got embarrassed the other night.
So I think that was the unspoken topic. I think at that point too. I don't know if y'all covered that already
What's that?
earlier, but this Nintendo Direct got people playing games. It's amazing. Like,
oh yeah.
All I did was I was laughing about it yesterday. Like, I'm looking at my friends list and I'm like, whoa. So now everybody's playing Xenoblade again. Now everybody's playing Smash again. And you were just talking about Splatoon. Yeah, I saw a couple people playing Splatoon as well. So
it did its job.
Yes.
It did its job. Now, I'm going to say this. Overall, I liked it. I enjoyed it because, once again, I know to temper my expectations. My expectations were
Yeah.
not high. I'm like, we haven't had one in a while. They already said that they're not showing a lot of stuff for the whole year because they still have a whole lot of year left. The people that were upset about this, I'm like, it's February. In the Gregorian calendar, there's 12 months. That means we have 10 more months to go. We know that E3 is digital. We know that Paris Games is going to be digital. We know that Tokyo Game Show is going to be digital. They're not going to show you everything you want right now. Now in November, if it's still like this, then you can complain about
Yes.
droughts and stuff.
Right.
But
And let's not forget to Nintendo, E3 really isn't priority to them anyway.
No,
Like
not at
E3
all.
could be like in June, Nintendo will be like May
Okay.
or July.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. We're not going to do the same day as them, and then they'll
Right.
release whatever they need for the rest of the year. I mean, you
And-
might see your Metroid this year. We
Yeah.
we don't know.
We
I
don't
mean,
know.
as far as the trailer anyway. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and my thing is, I'm like the thing that E3 is for the Nintendo side of things is the Treehouse Directs.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like, yeah, we like the digital event. It's usually funny. They usually do something funny to tide us over for the 45 minutes, but it's usually about the Treehouse.
That's how I
Yeah.
bought Astral Chain because of
Yeah,
that.
that
Yeah.
Treehouse. I'm
because the
like,
games they show you the whole
Yeah.
game, and it's this.
a developer sitting right there, so
Mhm.
them questions get asked and they get answered,
Yep.
and the game works.
I
Yep.
think that's the majority of why Nintendo Directs work so well. Is that usually after a Nintendo Direct where they announce something, if it's not a treehouse after that, there's a specific direct for that game. And
Yep.
they like, yeah, this is a real game. This wasn't just a logo we showed you. This is how the whole game works. Also, it'll be on sale pretty soon. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I like about those more because all of the other like Game Awards and the other E3 presentations and stuff like that, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is alpha footage like a mug. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they are not.
Or this is a full
they're-
CG trailer. They're
this is
trying to promote a show or something.
This is an
Mhm.
engine demo and you put a logo on it. Like, this ain't gonna be around for 2-3 years. And you know, if Nintendo does it once or twice, it's usually with the Zelda or Metroid.
Yeah.
But all their other games, they're dropping out like straight up, and here it is. You're playing it in like 2 weeks.
I mean,
So-
that was the deal with Astral Chain. Nobody knew a damn thing about Astral Chain.
Nothing.
And
They
that
didn't
came
guess it.
out. They showed the trailer E3. They showed the Treehouse Direct. And at the end of July, we got one more trailer. The end of August, we got the game.
Mhm.
And it was glorious.
And and E3 was in June of 2019. June of 2019 to August of 2019, and they had a whole game and you knew nothing about in January 2019.
Yep. And I can only imagine the people that's asking for Bayo 3 that have not played Astral Chain.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's kind of strange to me.
yeah,
That's so strange. I can't play that. That's not my style of game. Wait,
It's
what?
an action game. What? Like, have you even tried it, dude? Man, them boss fights in that game will
I
make you
can
want to be a
halfway
cop.
accept that excuse for Wonderful 101. Maybe
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. But
Maybe.
the combat really is still Bayonetta. But
Yep.
like Astral Chain is
And then if you don't like that, or if you say that's not a game for you, you might be disappointed with Bayo 3 then, because I guarantee it's going to be some assets carried over to that
Yep.
game.
There's no way they didn't. There's a lot of that stuff was experimental.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
Because when you think about it, the director and the producer are on the Bayo team.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I'm sitting there like, yeah, dude, that Astral Chain, bruh. Astral Chain wanted me to be an anime cop, and
Yes.
I was here for it.
Mhm.
If that's what being an anime cop is like, sign me up.
yeah. I like the fact that you could create your own character too. And it was great.
Yep.
And then the story worked whether you're male or female. It's just awesome.
The only problem is, okay, and I hate this when games do this. You have a male and female character. They have speaking lines for when you don't pick the other one, but your character's silent.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't
Yep.
do that. They had a whole speaking lines with. Okay, I hate when they do that. That's annoying to me because they do that junk in Yeast 9.
Yeah. Only Mass Effect got that right, unfortunately. Where you pick male or female and then the speaking lines work.
Voice, yeah. Just
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get mad. It's just like
It's awkward.
yeah.
It's like, so my twin brother could talk, but I
But
can't.
can't.
I
But
don't.
then when you play another game and you play as her,
Yep.
he's talking full lines. Like, hold on, man.
Mhm.
Yep.
So yeah, But yeah, that's another game, and we probably need to do that one day. Like the give everybody like good Switch games, good Xbox, and good PlayStation games. Our lists. I guess you could say good PC games as well. We might have to do that one day. But
Yes.
that's pretty much the end of the direct, and that's pretty much the end of this podcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, we did go a little bit long. I told y'all at the beginning, so please be gentle when y'all getting mad at me for making it be this long. I don't know what to tell you. It's Agatha's fault. It was Agatha all along. So, WandaVision reference.
I'm about to say, I'm so curious as to how that's going to spin out.
I have some ideas, but
they're already working pretty well with everything that I saw, so it looks pretty good to me. I'm in.
I think my theory is going to be right. But that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Shadow, anything you want to pimp out?
Channel isn't dead. That's it. That's all. Channel ain't dead. Stand
Jack,
by.
Jack,
not pimp out, but more of like prepare. There's going to be more ports coming, so just be prepared. Whether it's from the Zelda side, we still haven't seen a Star Fox. We still haven't seen Chronicles X. I meant Wii U's not done. So the Wii U Switch combo fusion, yeah, it's going to continue to happen.
and I'm going to tell you right now, expect some more Zelda stuff because they had already leaked. Well, not leaked, but they had already let it slip that Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Twilight was coming.
They're coming.
They had already let, because it's 35th anniversary. They already let that. They almost let that leak slip by accident. So yeah, they said Skyward Sword just because people have already been talking about it, so they just went on let the cat out the bag. But don't be surprised when you see that, and I would not be surprised also if you see a Metroid Prime trilogy HD because the Metroid anniversary is also this year.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to get good faith in on people who claim they love Metroid,
let's see how this one sells on a console with 80 million out there.
I'm going to put that Metroid Trilogy HD, and that's going to come in a Metroid Direct, and I'm going to show some stuff from Metroid Prime 4, and I'm going to drop that Metroid Trilogy Direct digitally first, and then I'll do physical later, but digitally first to let it be like right after the Direct is over so everybody can get mad when the servers crash.
Hold up. At some point this year, F-Zero turns 30 years old.
Yep.
I wouldn't waste my time.
And seeing as how nobody actually played the one on GameCube, except the people who played it, and then when we played Fast Racing Neo, like this ain't that bad. And the people who kept saying that this is too hard, but they kept claiming they won't fight F-Zero, and we just looking at you like, really?
Yeah, what you talking about?
Oh, that's hard.
But Nintendo's sitting on a bunch of franchises that they can work with. I'm like, come on,
and
dude.
So is Capcom.
Right.
And
then they give you a deep cut like the Detective Club, and you're like, what is this? I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm like
bro, that's the deepest cut.
Yeah, so even though I will say that Famicom Detective Club does look like it's gonna be pretty good, but
they redid a lot of that. That art looks great. So
yeah, so that's it for this episode of the Wingin' It podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, your family, all the other good stuff. Also, you can check out the audio version. I usually try to have that up by Tuesday or Wednesday, just so you can play it, listen to it via Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I forgot the other one. But yeah, it's up. It's usually up at those by Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you can't watch it here, you can always listen to it on the go or whatever. So that being said, love, peace, and soul, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Deuces.